National News Bulletin. I am Warabai Kamara. The headlines. The Director General, Petroleum Directorate, Timothy Kabar, has expressed optimism that with the growth and development of the petroleum unit, the country will realize full economic viability of the sector under the current government's new direction.
So the industry has responded to our clarity and our sincerity, and I think that is what is now magnetizing companies that have got, pronounced corporate integrity.
Fulbear Progressive Union, in partnership with the Fuller Tribal Headman Western Area, has officially launched a public fundraising program for the rehabilitation and expansion project of the Jamiu Rahman Masjid, commonly called the Fuller Central Mosque, at the Magazine Court in Freetown.
Beautiful coincidence of the relationship between Mandingo and Fuller in the promotion of Islam in the country. I don't see any other tribe than they go not and test for promote Islam in this country. Past Fuller and Mandinga. Alhamdulillah for that.
The Consortium for the Advancement of Rights for Key Population, a leading civil society organization working on health issues, supported by the Global Fund through the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, implementing community system strengthening and linkages to the health system, has held a day orientation program for the senior reporters, editors and managers of media houses on national HIV and AIDS and tuberculosis response on the 28th Country Progressive Report.
Highly inform the media houses then, for let them really know the issues then where they around HIV, TB and malaria, and for let them positively report on the issues there.
In fair of lauding, residents and the stakeholders of Bryan Street in King Town has called on the government and non-governmental organization and other stakeholders to address the perennial environmental issues they are currently faced with in that part of the city.
They always talk for say, government, not to be so happen, they can't really say for can help you. No, you're not correct. Government may help you now, for give way, this was having to go down. Yeah, passage that same day, we deny, we get a relief.
And in sports, the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Christopher Kamara, has said that the Premier League club will represent the country in any Confederation of Africa football competition because of the registration date has ended.
Every country for don't complete their leagues before the end of June. And by June 30, they don't get them qualifiers, them whether they turn in and engage them.
Those were the headlines, and now for the news in detail with me, Warabai Kamara. The Director General, Petroleum Directorate, Timothy Kabar, has expressed optimism that with the growth and development of the petroleum unit, the country will realize full economic viability of the sector under the current government's new direction. Compiled by Abdurrahman Kamara, read in our studios by Leonela Jawara.
Commenting on the state of the sector, the Director General, Petroleum Directorate, Timothy Kabar, said he has fully integrated views of stakeholders on the value chains in the oil and gas sector. Timothy Kabar expressed optimism that with the growth and development of the petroleum unit, the country will realize full economic viability of the sector under the current government's new direction. He intimated that the offshore waters of Sierra Leone contain proven petroleum systems, the understanding of which is supported by an inventory of extremely high-quality geological and geophysical data, with much of this data being made available for the first time. He furthered that the country's fourth licensing round has granted significant levels of interest from the international oil and gas industry, as revealed by Jonathan Kopos.
What we've been able to do is to restore trust, confidence, and also to sell an opportunity that has clear vision and direction. So the industry has responded to our clarity and our sincerity, and I think that is what is now magnetizing companies that have got pronounced corporate integrity. They're now associating themselves with our opportunities here because what we're offering, the landscape that we've created, screens against their organizational expectation. So that is why we're now seeing in people engaging us, people bringing discussions of coming to Sierra Leone. So we're quite optimistic. And I must say this, if Sierra Leone is to progress, if Sierra Leone is to get in the desired investment that it requires, every sector in this country, including the oil and gas, should serve as a gold standard which other countries will emulate from. And the oil and gas sector, that is what we're trying to do, to provide a very competitive landscape for investment.
As the new Presidious Group in Ghana in 2018, both the head of the Ghana National Petroleum Company, Professor Sapong, and the Director General, Petroleum Directorate, Timothy Kaba, agreed to enter into a binary relationship to bring together industry players from across the continent, which include international oil companies, national oil companies, oil and gas service companies, independent oil companies, oil and gas financiers, regulators, and industry commentators, among other stakeholders, to discuss trends, innovations, and strategies towards maintaining a lead in the volatile oil and gas sector. Following the suspension of the country's fourth licensing round in September this year, the Sierra Leone Petroleum Directorate has embarked on an aggressive industrial engagement in a bid to stimulate investment interest in the country's basin. Since his appointment as Director General of the Sierra Leone Petroleum Directorate, Timothy Kaba has engaged in serious efforts to rebrand the face of the Directorate into an institution capable of delivering on its mandate. He is an oil and gas professional with stronger educational background in oil and gas engineering, leadership management, and strategy, combined with viable successes in oil and gas industry. He is pretty much familiar with the challenges in the oil and gas industry.
I think that's a comparative advantage in that we have functional, functional advanced inventory of geological and geophysical data stored in data rooms in Sierra Leone and in the UK. I think this is a one-stop shop where investors come into the country, visit the data room, look at the data that we have, and what it does, it quickens the period of decision making, and it also gives a precursory knowledge to what is expected of the subsurface geology. And like I said, this is a comparative advantage that is, of course, a blessing to Sierra Leone.
Compiled by Abdul Rahman Kamara, read by Leonora Jawara.
And now the Fulbert Progressive Union, in partnership with the Fuller Tribal Headman Western Area, has officially launched a public fundraising program for the rehabilitation and expansion project of the Jamil Rahman Masjid, commonly called the Fuller Central Mosque at the Magazine Court in Freetown. Asinatu Bokari has more in her report.
Mento na ifondo amenge konguni amenkotowi pelere jori dinono tito ulangu ameng barki ekisi eko antawadani yole didi meyidi Sierra Leone.
Fulbert Progressive Union, in collaboration with the Fuller Tribal Headman Western Area, has officially launched a public fundraising program for the rehabilitation and expansion project of the Jamil Rahman Masjid, commonly known as the Fuller Central Mosque at Magazine Court, Freetown. The Fulbert Progressive Union is the umbrella organization for all Fuller organizations in the country. It was established as a youth organization for all Fuller youths in the country country in 1967, but it was later changed to a union to involve everyone. The masjid was the first Fula mosque in the country in 1954, and since its establishment, no major rehabilitation work was done, and this led the Fulbe Progressive Union to undertake the expansion project. Chairman of the program, Sheikh Farouk, spoke on the importance and the need to spend resources in building the house of Allah, which according to him is very much divine. Chairman Fulbe Progressive Union Western Area Alhaji Mohammed Karim Jallo said the idea behind the program is to expand the mosque and explain the structures being put in place and the time frame for the completion of the project.
You see, the thing the way the money sorry for the language, and the iman is less. If the iman day will not draw for build masjid. Because if they say everybody go build one house there, 3-bedroom apartment, you go to American embassy and they give visa, you go to America and go give a house. Tell me, we go build a territory for the ground sorting. Because we believe say they know they lie to you. And likewise, we believe what Allah promised, definitely you know they lie to you, we go get them. That we continue to promote, to build this project. After this, then we will think of other one.
Minister of NIG Alhaji Kanja Sise expressed his feelings being around Fulas, which he said always puts him to challenge, and he is at the occasion because of the love he has for Islam, and also to represent the Madingo people. He pledges the support of the Madingo people towards the completion of the project.
Beautiful coincidence of the relationship between Madingo and Fula in the promotion of Islam in the country. And obviously any other tribe in the Ogonat and Chest for promote Islam in this country. Past Fula and Madinga. Alhamdulillah for that. At a personal level, not only my love for Islam, but also my love for the Fula community. That make a day today. And inshallah, God will promote that relationship with the Fula almost on a daily basis. For some good reason, even my mama self born me, then when I will come up, they know that. Me, my mama and my papa, 100% Madinga. But my mama, in closest people that we believe with Nabo, that the Fula community. To the point that even before take in life, it tells me that they be the pray, by the way, the Fula mosque, that they be the pray permanently. Even before God take in life, now he tell me, being at the big one, he said the day God will take in life, prayer, go excuse from the Madingo then, let them allow the Fula them for bury me.
Honorable Cherno Majuba said the project is not political nor commercial, but divinely inspired to give everyone an opportunity to secure a place for him or herself in heaven. Dr. Mohammed Julde Jallo said they should build a mosque that befits the status of the Fulas in the country and officially launch the fundraising process. Acting Fula tribal headman Mohammed Saliu Jallo said even though the vice president is championing the project, the chieftaincy is providing the leadership for the project. For Star News in Freetown, I am Asnatu Eluma Bokari reporting.
You're still watching the National News Bulletin here on Star TV. The Consortium for the Advancement of Rights for Key Population, a leading civil society organization working on health issues supported by the Global Fund through the Ministry of Health and Sanitation, implementing community system strengthening and linkages to the health system, has held a day orientation program for senior reporters, editors and managers of the media houses on national HIV and AIDS and tuberculosis response on 2018 country progressive report on Thursday, 17 July 2019 at the Corner Lodge in Freetown.
Addressing media practitioners, the program manager, Consortium for the Advancement of the Rights of Key Populations, Hayi Ben Alpha, noted that the overall goal of the media engagement is to elicit a clear understanding on reporting health issues, particularly on HIV/AIDS, TB and malaria, and to contribute to the human capacity development in understanding. He noted that this is to ensure participants have a clear understanding of who are key affected populations and key population affected by the three diseases.
the initiative we will take for engage the media houses, now for let we highly inform the media houses them, for let them really know the issues then where they around HIV, TB and malaria, and for let them positively report on the issues there, and let them see how the trend of the epidemic they go in the country, so that at least then we're able to inform the general public about how the trend of the disease is going. That make, in fact, we try to get the National Health Secretariat M&E officer, where Mr. Kaisandi, and the surveillance officer. They actually can give an update of the country progress report, where they don't prepare for 2018. So they can give highlights on that. They get specific indicators then we get for share with the media houses, so that at least then we will know that these are the indicators that we will monitor the trend. We have actually done series of engagement with the media houses, both at a regional level and at central level. And we don't realize that the media, they only report on HIV on eventful days like World AIDS Day, World TB Day, World Malaria Day. But we want to encourage them, let them go in depth, let them look at the human science of the epidemic, let them interview even people who they live with HIV, engage the one that were infected with tuberculosis, how the disease, the impact on them, whether positively or negatively, and the one that we do on treatment, so that then we're able to know how the treatments they work with them and how then they uptake their services as then they're on treatment.
Mr. Kaisandi from the National HIV/AIDS Secretariat reiterated that they will continue to work with international partners like the Global Fund against HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria to consolidate gains and further the fight against HIV and AIDS in Sierra Leone. Adding that 60% of the country is now covered with HIV and AIDS testing services, and estimated 42% of the population have tested and know their status.
There's public health, either threats of less public health. So what are we doing? They set this target that 90% of those that are living with HIV and AIDS should know their HIV status. It's now left in the country to put strategies in place in terms of ensuring that they are tested, in terms of ensuring that awareness is being raised, in terms of ensuring that more dialogue, inclusive dialogue takes place, so that people know, then they can go and do their testing so that they know that also.
He revealed that his government has urged specific institutional reforms such as the cross-training of healthcare personnel and deeper and wider interministerial and sector collaboration in the fight against HIV/AIDS, and will also work to eradicate economic barriers to the accessing of HIV/AIDS testing and treatment services through fee exemption for HIV/AIDS services in all government hospitals. Key affected populations and their communities have been functioning as small community-based support groups in Sierra Leone, providing quality-based health service delivery to meet the needs of the affected people who are made vulnerable by conditions such as HIV/AIDS, TB and malaria, and most often marginalized and have grown into community-based. For Star News, Creighton Thomas reporting.
Moving on, in fear of flooding, residents and stakeholders of Bryant Street in Kingstown have called on the government and non-governmental organization and other stakeholders to address the perennial environment issues that they have currently faced in that part of the city. George Elliott Sam has more in our report.
In fear of flooding, residents and stakeholders of Bryant Street in Kingstown have called on the government, non-governmental organizations, and other stakeholders to address the premier environment issues they are currently faced with in that part of the city. Residents, stakeholders, and youth spoke to Star Television about the environment condition.
This water, I want to tell government, I want to tell the authorities there as a whole. Once they help we, this water may go affect we this year again. This water, cause damage. That was when they see doing that so, all man run away the water. And me, I can always talk for say, government, not so way, so it's happen. They can't say for can help we. No, you don't correct. Government may they help you now for give way, this was having to go down, give passage that same day, we deny, we get a relief. It's a go, I'm going to be. But the way to manage that I don't kind of use them, it can cause damage. Somebody can lose life or property them, then they say, for can help we. Do you have the big? But I can try by all means, City Council now, any other person for can help we for the get road, the road for this water so for the affect you this year.
On aurait toilette naso, on aurait pompe facility. Ici, we get a lot of questions. We get typhoid, malaria. Ici, but we don't get add sick number, but we get common incident, malaria, typhoid. Ici.
Okay, now in season with the and we see say one place where they can't turn dirty and other stuff them. How the sanitation business look like on a health system now?
Poor sanitation are so poor. And we say we pray God for they will get any government or NGO will help for they will get better sanitation for poor.
That's not normal, not sweet, because you suffer for the castle. You suffer for what you don't see, especially when you don't cancel. You only go bad right now. You know man, I will put them so for. No man, you go bad. You suffer for you. You don't get better material, better support. Some of for you live life.
Okay, so what will be your message to the government?
For government, they make to for government, they not the dumb sites. They look up to them. I may go vote for them, and I will be going there. They look up to them, and then we will free. But they not the dumb sites. Actually, they suffer now. And how they sleep.
Health system now, they're really bad. They're really bad. Because one, we don't see, but obviously we don't used to it now. We don't used to it now. Understand? I have a problem. We don't used to it now because we're used to the sense, and for some people who sick, so it's not too easy. Yeah, not too easy, so we mango sick. But basically, we know losing this country, malaria and cold. I am more than one man. Or we see cholera, nobody see cholera in any other team.
For Star News in Freetown, I'm George Elliott Sam reporting.
And in sports, the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Christopher Kamara, has said that the Premier League club will represent the country in any confederation of Africa football competition because of the registration date has ended. Let's now join our sports correspondent, Hilton John, for some sporting updates.
Welcome everyone for today's sporting news. The Easterland Football Club won the championship in the Sierra Leone Premier League, will not represent the country in the CAF competition, African Champions League, according to the Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association, Christopher Kamara. He said when the league began, the country was under suspension or banned from world governing body because of political interference from the government of Sierra Leone. Christopher Kamara, Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Football Association, explained more.
Well, I can tell you, say, for let you represent, that your country be represented in the competition. One, if we ensure, say, your calendar of activity, they within the period where they enable CAF. CAF then deadline for engagement na the 30th of June. And as we speak, today is the 9th of July. We league not done it. So you can judge for yourself and see the possibility. It can be very slim, it can be narrow, it can be possible, but anything they do outside now or one for do now with CAF would only breach of the rules because every country for don't complete their leagues before the end of June. And by June 30, they don't get them qualifiers, them where they turn in and engage them. Because for let you even engage, let's assume say a team win the competition. You not just to go engage the team. When the executive committee don't decide as to for engage the team in the competition, then they write the team officially and ask the team in consent. The team self get for put them in writing. Because in the situation we are in, we don't get situations like the previous. I'll give you an example. Eastern Lions in the 2014-2015 competition asked we for engage them because in the first round league we play before the Ebola, when the Ebola make us stop the second rounds. They emerge as champions. So they ask we for engage them. We engage them only for letting FIFA CAF put them in a qualifier, then they decide say they know they participate. That's not in breach. Now may lead to CAF suspending Eastern Lions for 3 years. Where people misunderstand say now the Madam Aisha in leadership. No. Now making they ask you say when the executive don't take the decision, they also the general secretary they write officially to these clubs and ask the clubs then consent.
Though their supporters are celebrating for the championship, once more congratulations to Eastern Lions Football Club, but they will not be part of the African Champions League in this 2019. In the international scene, as part of their preparation as a pre-season, Manchester United secured a final victory against Leeds United. It was a good match for Manchester United despite they failed to qualify for the Champions League next season. Here's the highlights of the game.
Ole Gunnar Solskjær har tatt ut et meget slagkraftig mannskap i dag. Fint besøk, det enkelt og greit. Manchester United mot grad nå kan det se ut til at han blir. Solskjær har han vært på med fra start i dag. Vi i gang. Her Leeds som tar avspark. Mann i denne troppen. Her vil Lindeløf. Slipper ut til Rashford. Og så skyter Rashford. Her i farta til James. Slipper ut til Greenwood. Får ikke den med seg. Til James inn i banen. Det nære at Mata får... Og der da, inn på tvers, og der sitter den! 1-0! Fantastisk skåring av Manchester United! Og det juvelen Greenwood som setter den inn etter målgivende. Fra nysigneringen Wan-Bissaka. Det Solskjærs egne gutter som gjør det. Det har vært en... glimrende åpning for Manchester United det her. Bielsa. Paul Pogba, han... Vi ser her oppe til... Det stor interesse også rundt den kampen. Rashford får frispark. Det blir skuddet fra Pogba! Her nære på. Paul Pogba igjen. Enten så har han lyst til å vise klubber at han har vært prislappen, eller så ser han veldig motivert ut for å spille for Manchester. Erik Bailly.
It's indeed a good start for Manchester United as a pre-season match. Let's see whether they will perform in the EPL, the FA Cup, and also the Carling Cup. That's all for sports.
Thank you very much, Hilton John, for that sporting update. And that's all in a national news bulletin for the hour here on Star TV, Channel 21. I am Warabai Kamara, and thanks for watching.